Hey everybody, Some Gadget Guy here, and we're playing around with a monster all-in-one today from Lenovo. Recently, we reviewed the budget C260, and I was very impressed with the amount of computer you could land for under $400. But what about us power users? What do we get to play with? Enter the Lenovo A740. My review unit boasts a 28-inch Quad HD touchscreen. That's a resolution of 2560 by 1440 for people who like numbers. Lenovo has single-handedly turned me into that jerk who now touches all computer monitors I come in contact with. The QHD model comes with an Intel Core i7 dual-core processor, 8GB of RAM, a 1TB hard drive backed up by an 8GB solid-state swap space, and an NVIDIA 850A dedicated GPU. It's impressive design, cramming the guts of a decently powerful PC into a shell this thin. And the price of entry is going to run just under $1,900 for the privilege. Lenovo is certainly keeping the iMac in their sights with the A740, where pricing puts it right in between the two HD versions of the iMac with Core i5 processors. It's a perfect gap to slot in a stylish Windows PC. In the box, Lenovo gives us a wireless keyboard and mouse. They're decent kit, though I do wish the keyboard had a little more key travel, maybe a clickier feel. And it's a touch cramped compared to their wired keyboard. The mouse is an odd experiment in modern design, with a sharp bent top angle. It's not uncomfortable to use, but it is a touch unfamiliar, and I personally prefer a hardware click wheel for scrolling over the touch-sensitive strip provided. We also get an external DVD player, which is a nice legacy bit of gear, though like I found using their C260, I just don't much use shiny plastic discs these days. I'm glad I have it, but I didn't really leave it connected to the PC during my review. Walking around the unit, we've got an impressively sturdy hinge which can drop the unit to a flat tabletop setup. It's a great firm action which feels like it should last a long time, and the screen barely wobbles when being used. We have 4 USB 3 ports, very handy for connecting multiple peripherals and external drives. A 6-in-1 memory card reader should support most memory cards out there. JBL speakers are built into the base, and of course there's a combo headphone and mic headset jack for audio. Happily, there's also an HDMI input, which makes this a great space-saving option for folks who might not be able to cram multiple screens into a bedroom, dorm, or small apartment. Just kind of a bummer these days that game consoles rarely support more than 1/4 the resolution of this monster screen. Speaking of the screen, it's generally very good. Nice brightness, good viewing angles, and decent saturation. Recently, I've been spoiled by the incredible UHD panel on Lenovo's Y50 gaming notebook, but it's nice seeing a resolution bump over Apple's iMac at a similar price point. And folks wanting a bit more resolution to play with have an option here which won't wreck the bank. Performance is an interesting set of compromises. Like the iMac, we're essentially using high-end laptop guts, and the A740 absolutely crushes normal daily computing tasks. Even with a resolution bump, there's no flinching for things like web browsing and working on documents. Multimedia playback is generally smooth too. The NVIDIA GPU is put to great use, keeping playback of high-quality HD media smooth. You won't run into any issues until you start throwing UHD content at the machine, and that's where I saw the occasional lag or stutter. Gaming also plays into similar trade-offs. This hardware had zero issues with Windows apps like Halo Spartan Assault. In fact, I was even able to stream Netflix while playing Spartan Assault without any detrimental effects. It's when you start pushing into legit PC games and trying to run them at the native res of the panel that you'll be hurting a bit. You can crank out an acceptable gaming experience dialing back on some of the quality settings, but it does show this machine is more of an all-rounder, and people passionate about their gaming are likely going to invest this kind of cash in a very different kind of box. One last note about performance: like the C260, the McAfee protection software pre-installed on Lenovo systems seems to take a noticeable chunk out of system performance. Once the A740 is up and running, it's less noticeable, but wake-up times are excruciating for a computer in this price bracket. The screen would launch nearly instantly, but the entire system would be unresponsive for over a minute. Depending on who will be providing family tech support, my recommendation still stands that uninstalling McAfee and running with Microsoft's built-in scanning software would probably be advisable. Having both Wi-Fi and Ethernet on the A740 gives you some flexibility as to where you can set up the system. My review unit did come with the optional 802.11ac chipset. I honestly couldn't tell much performance difference over previous 802.11n gear, but for people who care about such things, it is in there. Of course, a hardline cabled connection will be the way to go for the most consistent bandwidth. The NFC on board is surprisingly helpful for sharing content between phone and PC. Photos, for example. Tapping a Windows or an Android phone to the NFC icon on the bezel will initiate a Bluetooth file transfer. Handy for those times you don't want to go hunting for a cable to move files to your PC. Windows 8 also handles accessory pairing really well, like these Bluetooth headphones, which sync up with a quick tap on the screen. Love it or hate it, there is a significant amount of software pre-installed, from Lenovo's own system scanning tools and games to take advantage of the touchscreen, to multimedia programs and DVD software. It's generically good enough to replace some of the functionality you might get with a Mac and iLife, but for folks who enjoy specific programs for these uses, it'll all likely get in the way or quickly be uninstalled. In use, the A740 has been a versatile system to have both in the living room and in my office. It might be overkill as an internet terminal, how I found myself using the budget C260, but it was terrifically handy and capable. The flexibility of the screen alone made for an enjoyable experience. When stationed on the dining room table, being able to swivel the screen down and only use the touchscreen made for a slightly less cluttered tabletop, where I might have needed a keyboard and mouse sitting in front of me before. At 28 inches, the screen might be a bit large for sitting at a comfortable distance and using the touchscreen when set up like a traditional all-in-one or monitor. But since starting my Windows 8 journey with my Lenovo Twist, I find there are some tasks I just prefer reaching up to touch the screen to accomplish. Of course, your mileage may vary, but I really think Windows wakes up with a touchscreen, even if it's not the primary method of navigating the UI. So where does that leave us with the A740? It's a tough performance choice between similar machines, where some all-in-one PCs use Core i5 quad-core CPUs instead of the Core i7 dual-core found here. And the NVIDIA 850 competes against older but slightly more powerful parts like the 770 and the $2,000 iMac. But Lenovo's offering ekes out a few victories with a terrific Quad HD touchscreen. For my money, it's a better family computer than the mid-range iMacs. I found it somewhat disappointing that the first computing devices that many kids will use are smartphones and tablets with touchscreens, and Apple still refuses to bring touchscreens to OS X. After training kids to touch a screen on an iPad, why not continue that with the home PC as well? It can be a little of everything for every member of the family. A little light gaming for the kids, great office solutions for mom and dad, very good multimedia playback, or a terrific space-saving system for a dorm room or bedroom, all crammed into an attractive shell. And now, having played with a handful of systems at various price points, the A740 further cements my opinion that Lenovo currently has the best grasp on designing hardware around Microsoft's operating system. I'll of course leave links below this video if you'd like more info on the A740. As always, thanks so much for watching this video and dropping me all of those amazing comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to continue watching videos like this, and I would not be able to continue producing these reviews if you folks weren't out there sharing my videos with your family, friends, and on social media. Hit that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all on the next review.